It is actually pretty nice out. I wasn't sure that I was going to try to read out here because it was so humid and terrible earlier. I am in the midst of reading Sadie, which is the young adult thriller, and thus far I am thrilled, I am anxious, I am like completely absorbed. I do not think this will take me a long time to read. I'm about 70 pages in right now. I will hopefully be well past 100 by the end of the night. I officially made it to the 100-page mark, thank goodness. This book is a lot shorter than I first realized. It's only about 300 pages. If I plan this out correctly and I'm ambitious, I think I could finish this by the end of the week, which honestly I don't think would be that difficult because this book is very addicting. Everyone, so sorry about these reading updates, have been very sporadic, but I am nearly halfway through this book. So my goal, I know I said it was to finish it this weekend, but I'd really like to finish it today because my friend has the vampire book. You guys have probably heard of it. It's kind of old school. It's called Marked. But I'm like, you know what? That would be a really good book to add to this October TBR thing, since my reading is pretty light and some of these books are ridiculously short. So to squeeze in this fifth book, I think it would be most successful if I finish this one ASAP, which shouldn't be that hard because I am completely and utterly addicted to it. It's so good. It has such Gillian Flynn vibes. I have a feeling that the author is a huge fan of her because it feels like Gillian Flynn, but the structure is really interesting because it switches back and forth between investigative podcast and then from Sadie's perspective, and she's a very interesting protagonist. She definitely has a very unique and strong point of view about the world. I heard the audiobook is really good because it's just so easy to get through. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to it, but I'd love to find just a clip of it to get the vibe. The dogs are outside, a second cup of coffee has been made, and it's time to read. Good morning, everyone. It is 11 a.m. I have gotten ready for the day, took the puppies out on a walk. It's unfortunately kind of rainy out, so that sucks when you have especially fluffy puppies. But I'm gonna spend the next maybe half hour or so reading Sadie. I am officially 200 pages in. I have 100 left, so I'm very determined to finish it today. But then I want to head over to, there's a shopping district actually over where I used to live, and there's a Barnes & Noble, Target, and Marshall's right next to each other. So I plan on going to the Starbucks, working on a Preptober video that I filmed yesterday, maybe doing some reading too. I'll just bring this book with me just in case. Peruse the book section at Barnes & Noble, and then there's a bunch of fall related stuff like decors and candles and more fun stuff that I want to look at Target and Marshall's because I got paid a few days ago, so I can try to get through this book because it's so good. In a very, again, Gillian Flynn, where I'm super addicted to it, but it also makes me sad and kind of want to die. Oh my god, it's getting intense. So I'm leaving a little bit later than I would have liked. It's almost 12:30, but Sunday is my chore day. So I just had a bunch of stuff to do throughout the house. And now that all of that is taken care of, I can go off to the magical world of Starbucks. What's up? Hey, baby girl. Hey, what's going on? Love you. I'm really into getting a regular coffee and then just asking for 1 pump of the pumpkin spice flavor, which I know is just nothing but sugar, but I like the flavoring of it. I like cinnamon stuff, and getting some work done. I don't know how much writing specific stuff I'm gonna get through, but we'll see. Because I am a terrible, terrible vlogger, I did not capture any footage of me actually reading this book yesterday, and I read at Barnes & Noble, I read when I got home, and then I read again before bed, and that's when I finished the book. And then ignore all of that, it's a disaster over there, but just to give like a little mini review in case you want to know whether it's worth checking out and reading for yourself. Yes, if you are into really dark thrillers, do not be fooled into thinking that this is YA, that this is, the library even says it's for teens. Don't think that then like, oh, this is going to be easy on my heart or this isn't going to get brutal. It's brutal. It's intense. There is a lot of extremely dark material there. I don't think I ever really explained what this book is about. So Sadie is a 19-year-old girl. Her younger sister was murdered 6 months earlier, and now she herself is gone. And this book is set up really interesting because it bounces between first-person POV with Sadie and then a podcast format. So just as an example page, so it's kind of set up like an interview. The main journalist, her name is West McCrae, and West also kind of becomes a character in her own right, and much like Gillian Flynn, who I think I've mentioned 1,000 times in this vlog because this just is a dead ringer for one of those types of books. Most of the characters in this book are female. Sadie has an extremely strong, pessimistic voice, but she's an extremely distinctive and interesting character. And the way this book is set up is that you get Sadie's perspective, and it's always a little bit ahead of what the podcast is able to figure out about her and where she is and what's going on. And this book is extremely dark because she is out to kill her pedophile stepfather. And this book is not for the faint of heart. It does have content including sexual abuse, specifically pedophilia, and although I think that's handled extremely tastefully because it's never graphic, just the hints of that kind of abuse obviously are horrific and can be hard to deal with. That being said, I was on the edge of my seat. It took me like 3 or 4 days to get through this book. It was one of those thrillers where I just needed to keep reading and read the next chapter and the next chapter because I wanted to know what happened next, what happened next, what happened next. So it does have a good ending without spoiling anything. Maybe I'll do a spoiler review about it in the future. The ending is interesting in a way. I think, how can I say this without giving anything away? I think the author kind of broke the rules of her own structure because, like I said, it was always podcast Sadie, and Sadie was always a little bit ahead of what the podcast was figuring out about her. But at the end, we only get podcast chapters. So we, the readers, are back in the shoes of the podcasters, trying to figure out exactly what happened towards the end, and it's kind of left up into the air as to what really happened. And I understand why the author, Courtney Summers, would do that, because now there's still a mystery left, and I do want to do some internet perusing and seeing if there's any more like concrete fan theories, if there were some little hints in here about maybe what would have happened to her that I haven't picked up on. But it did leave me with a little bit of like feeling cheated, because it's like, okay, well, you are purposely holding back this information when before that wasn't the case, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily a bad way to go about something like this. It just, and it's a testament to the story, because I'm like, okay, well, I want more. And I love Sadie. I loved when we were in the Sadie chapter. So I'm like, I want more Sadie. I want to know what's going on. It's a really wild book. If you want a quick, dark, but thrill of a read, I think Sadie is honestly excellent. And even if my feelings about the ending are complicated, because I kind of sound very negative about it, but I also cried. I actually cried a little bit last night because there was a lot. So that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this reading vlog. I plan on doing one every single week throughout the month of October, specifically about my TBR list. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those vlogs in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.